Hey guys, just finished doing the Where Have I Been video, actually yesterday. Um, you're going to notice some differences. But there was an issue during recording, some things came up. The video went really well. Everything that I wanted to say came out well, it flowed nicely. I had used a action camera that I had it set in a high resolution mode on a tripod with a little fuzzy mic, and the audio was great, even though it was windy. Um, and the backdrop is a beautiful scenic overlook over a valley, and I thought it would look epic, and it would if it didn't look like it was filmed with a potato. I don't know what the hell was going on, but that camera doesn't seem to do a very good job of any kind of detail, even though it's high resolution, so supposedly. But the audio is really great. So today, I actually went back out to the location, tried to refilm it using this device, my Galaxy phone, which I did in 4K 30, getting the epic background, which I wanted you guys to see. The problem is, I tried to say the same things I said yesterday, and it just didn't come out very well. I don't know. There's some emotional scenes, and it just didn't work. So what sucks is the video I did first. Also, I had a beard, a little 5 o'clock shadow, and I shaved today, and so today I don't have one. But so it kind of sucks because the video sucks, but the audio and the explanation of what happened is much better, and that's kind of the most important thing. So I've decided to use the crappy low resolution video with the better explanation and about what happened with me. But then at the end of it, what I'm going to do is piece together a piece of the video from today using this phone. There's a panoramic view that I did where I put the selfie stick up in the air and kind of did a slow turn. So I'm going to put that at the end of the video just so you guys get an idea to see what it does look like actually. It just doesn't come across in the video that I made yesterday. So anyway, rather than put some like scrolling text at the beginning of the video trying to explain all this, I thought it'd be easier just to do a little pre-video, and I'll just put it together in the editor, and that way you guys know what the hell's going on. And I apologize if there's any differences in audio level or whatever. There's nothing I can do about it. I'm not that great of an editor. So anyway, it is what it is. See you guys in a couple seconds. Bye. Alright guys, actually, I was completely wrong. This is actually the place we used to go shooting at. I was in the wrong location, and actually there were some pretty gnarly trails on the way up to here. So once we're done, we'll head back the way I came, and I'll show it to you because you guys didn't get to see it. So this is the part of the video where I want to talk about where I've been for 7 years and what's been going on in my life. I look at my watch, it's because I'm looking at the timer so I don't run out of time. So basically what happened was I was driving through Rouen, and I used to post videos all the time, at least once a week or so, and then one week I just didn't, and I don't really know why that happened. Just didn't make one that week, and then the next week, and the next week, and all of a sudden it was 6 months. And then I thought about it, and I was like, man, I miss doing that. And then I couldn't think about what I wanted to make the video about. I used to make videos just about, whatever was on my mind, what was going on in the news, what was happening in my life, just, sort of like it would have been today they'd call it a vlog. So that's why I stopped making trucking videos. And then I was involved in a motorcycle accident. Damaged my right hand. I got a scar where they had to reattach a tendon, and I tore my left ACL, which means I couldn't drive the truck. There's no way I could drag those hoses around, climb on top of the tanks, any of that stuff, and I couldn't even push the clutch in on the truck. So doctor suggested that I The tear wasn't that bad, so I should do rehab rather than surgery to try that first. So I did about 3 or 4 months of rehab, and that went pretty well. And then I took a step up on something. My knee basically went out. I was back to square one. Doctor said, well, we need to do surgery, I think, and then 3 or 4 more months of rehab. And at that point, Ruan, who had been a fantastic company to work for, they'd already given me 6 months of disability, and they said, look, we can't retain you any longer because we can't, it'll be over a year before you're back. So I lost my job, lost my health insurance, which at point then I couldn't get the surgery done. So a friend of mine suggested, why don't you drive for Uber, because then you could drive around in the car and not stress your knee. So I started doing that, and I made decent money doing it, and I enjoyed it. I meet a lot of interesting people. And so I did that for a while. And then life took a turn that you hope never happens, but it does for everyone eventually. And my mom got sick. It's a combination of I came over and noticed that she was having some cognitive issues. We weren't sure why, so we went and got tested. She was extremely dehydrated, malnourished, and that's kind of a common thing with elderly people. They don't drink enough, they get dehydrated, they get urinary tract infections because of the dehydration. And when you're dehydrated, you don't eat. When you don't eat, you become malnourished, and it sort of goes in this cycle. And that's what happened to her. So she ended up, in a hospital. We got her rehydrated, kind of got things back going again, got the urinary tract infection under control, because in case you guys don't know this, a urinary tract infection on an elderly man or woman can present as Alzheimer's or dementia badly, like almost insanity in some cases, and it's just an infection. I don't know why that happens, but it does. So started taking care of my mom, basically full time, making sure she got a breakfast and drank enough, and as long as she did that, she was in good shape. Rehab came, got her walking around, things were great. She had a few relapses where she stopped drinking, and we went around and around a couple of times, but she always bounced back. And then she ended up in the hospital with I think a lung infection, and she had COPD, so that happened occasionally too, which all added up together into causing problems. But this time the CT showed she had a tumor in her upper left lung. And they said they couldn't do anything about it. And she had 6 to 8 months. So at that point, hospice became involved. I ended up taking care of my mom for 2 years total. Driving Uber here and there, but mostly taking care of her. And we were living off of her retirement money, basically. I didn't have much in the way of bills, so it was just cell phone bill, car insurance was about it, and so it wasn't a big deal. But as time went on, there really wasn't any evidence of her having issues with her lungs, the cancer, I mean, and which was good, but became concerned that she didn't have enough retirement money to pay off the condo she was living in. And so we had to sit down and have a conversation. I said, Mom, we don't know what's going to happen here. We don't know how long. My mom was pretty pragmatic. I could sit down and have a rational conversation with her about difficult topics. Not that they were easy, but we could do that. I said, if we keep going on this path, in 2 or 3 years, you're going to be broke and will be homeless because you don't have enough to pay off your mortgage. Then what do we do? So I started thinking about maybe we should move someplace where we could pay cash for a place out of whatever retirement money she had left. She would have some Social Security money coming in, and that would be enough to pay like basic bills. And I could do some Ubering, but at least you have a house paid for so that you can't get evicted from your home. The rest you can kind of work out, So that ended up being the plan. So we started looking around. The other thing was the COPD was really bad for humidity. She'd get out of the shower and could hardly breathe. The humidity was really rough on her. So we knew we needed to move to a drier climate. Well, my friend who had moved 3 years before, he lives in the Southwest, which is obviously where I am. And so we decided we took a couple other trips, one down to Nashville, and then we came west. And we wanted to go someplace in Texas, but we really didn't know where. And ended up coming and visiting out here for 6 or 8 weeks, and my mom absolutely fell in love with this place. Almost 300 sunny days a year. It's like 280 sunny days a year. It's dry almost all the time. It's warm. The winters aren't that cold. We really don't get much snow. We get a little bit, but not much. And so we came out here, looked around. Finally, she said, "Ken, I really like it here. I think we should find a place." And I said, "Okay, let's look." So I went on Zillow, looked around, found a place out. We wanted someplace scenic, away out in the country. She lived in a condo with like 300 other people, and we wanted someplace that was quiet and scenic because we knew this is where we would be forever. And so I went on Zillow and found a place. Talked to the real estate guy, met him the next day. He showed us the properties. My plan was to buy some land and then put something on it. He knew of a house that had been for sale. Anyway, there was a house that he showed us that was ready to move into, except it was still being occupied, and he didn't know if that guy was still selling it. So we looked at outside of it, went back to the real estate office, which was like at the entrance of the whole community, and 2 minutes later, the homeowner walked in and said, "Hey, I saw your car." And he's like, "Well, that's funny. We were just looking at your house. Is it still for sale?" And he's like, "Well, yeah, we'll have to work it out. You want to come see it?" We went and looked at it. It was perfect. Worked out a verbal contract. Done deal. Went back to Cincinnati. The contract came in, and we wrote a check for the whole amount. That's stressful. Let me tell you, put a big check. You got to make sure you sign everything where it needs to be signed. Went by courier. Next day, title company had it. House was ours. Done deal. He had 90 days to get out or before he started paying rent. And so we got our stuff together. I got a small settlement out of my accident because it was not my fault. Bought a pickup truck that I was going to use for my upcoming job. We loaded everything in the pickup truck, these knickknacks. Made a first move out here with the plan of just making a few trips and moving all of our stuff ourselves. And we made one trip out here, got a lot of stuff moved, went back to Cincinnati, grabbed another load, came back out here, unloaded that, went back to Cincinnati, and then just one delay after the other, and I can't really tell you why. And then Mom got suddenly ill and passed away within a week. Never had any discomfort. Wasn't her lung cancer. We don't really know. The hospice nurse suspected that perhaps the lung cancer had spread to her brain, which is apparently kind of common with lung cancer. But she had a lung infection. Antibiotics took care of that. Lungs were clear. The hospice nurse was checking that. Lungs were completely clear. But she was weak, couldn't get out of bed, laid in bed, and she passed away within 3 or 4 days. So she never got to come back out here and move into the house that we bought together, which really sucks. So then, of course, my friend that lived here, he came out to Cincinnati, and I bought a trailer, we loaded everything up, and we made one big giant move all together. And got everything here in one go, and I've been here ever since. And so I've been here for about 5 or 6 years, probably 5 years. And I don't really know why I haven't made any videos. There's so many beautiful scenery things we can show out here. I just haven't been in the mood, and suddenly the mood struck me, and I kind of want to give it a try. So we'll see. If nobody watches the videos, I may still make them because they're fun to make, and you still feel like you're sharing stuff with people. And there's some really cool stuff around here. As I mentioned, there's a big off-road park that I want to show you guys. But that's kind of the cut and dry of the story of what happened and why I didn't post videos and what's happened over the last 7 years. And I know it's a little I was trying to organize my thoughts about what I wanted to say within a 15-minute window, and it really isn't enough time. I really needed about 25 minutes, so I feel a little rushed, but just really sucks. Suddenly, you know, we knew my mom was going to pass away, but considering the condition she was in, she never had any pain, never had any discomfort at all, ever. We just figured the diagnosis, they were wrong. You know, 8 months. There are people that get cancer, they tell you you're going to live, you know, 6 months, and they live 10 years. And we kind of figured that is exactly what was going to happen, and that's why we needed to move. And she was doing absolutely fine, and then suddenly she was gone. And so it's weird. You're prepared when you get that kind of a diagnosis, and then when it doesn't happen in the time allotted that they told you it's going to happen, then you start hoping and thinking it's going to be longer, and then suddenly it isn't. So my suggestion to you guys would be, I never had this issue with my mom. Anybody in your life that something isn't right with, make it right. Tell them you love them. See the people you need to see. Go see your parents. Talk to them. Spend time with them, because someday they won't be here anymore. And you don't want to regret that. Fortunately, I don't have that regret with my mom. I'm sad that I didn't have more time with her, but I did get to spend a lot of time with her and do a lot of things together with her and make the most of the time we had, which was great. And a lot of people don't get that. So anyway, all right, I got to sign off because I got about 40 seconds till my 15 minutes is up. Sorry, it feels a little rushed, but I am going to continue the video. Actually, this video is going to be posted first as of what happened to me, and then the off-road part of the drive is going to be next in that sequence. So this will be first, even though it's actually in the middle. See you guys. Take care and be safe out there. Yep, it is still recording. That's some rocks holding down the tripod because it's quite windy today. Hold on, I need to get some. There are nothing but big rocks. The kind you roll your ankle on, which I don't want to do it here in the middle of nowhere. So let me get to some solid ground here where I can stabilize myself. Okay guys, that's about it. Gonna get back to the off-road video. We're about halfway through. Ken's 97 Stowe, signing off.